So some exciting news out of Six Flags. Breaking news, I should say, because it's like 8:25 in the morning. We just woke up a little bit ago, and that is Six Flags has announced over $1 billion in new attractions, festivals, and other great things for the parks coming in 2026 and 2027, I believe. I'm sorry, 2025 and 2026.
Actually, most of it's the planned 2026 operating season, according to the
Yep,
press
and now
release.
we have plans for Kingda Ka. We know what's happening more so with that. And Kings Island, Six Flags Over Texas, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and a bunch of other parks. They've already, really, normally Cedar Fair and Six Flags doesn't do this, but they announced stuff coming in 2026, and we're still in 2024. So let's dive into this. We have a ton of stuff to go over, some very exciting attractions. As they say here, that in let's see here, in 2025 they're going to be investing
in 7 new roller coasters.
in 7 new roller coasters, and 500 million, between 500 million and 525 million in both 2025 2026. That's crazy. They're really taking this. I'm very excited for this. And let's start off with the press release just came out on Six Flags Investors website. Starting off with, what's the first one?
Carowinds will introduce a record-breaking water ride.
This was rumored a while back, and I'd rather have a new coaster because Carowinds needs a new coaster. After all, Copperhead opened up in 2019.
Yeah, it was a long time
and
ago.
it's a long time ago. It's definitely time for them to build a new coaster, but it's a new water ride. Chances are it's going to be on the old Rip-Roaring Rapids plot of land, which is right by Ferry when you first walk in, which is not a bad thing because that whole area, as you turn into the park and turn right, could really use a refresh anyways. With that being said, I think a new water ride would do really well. Hopefully it's a log flume, or potentially a Mock Rides water coaster.
Cool.
Because they could get a new coaster if they do a water coaster.
So where else? I don't think there's anywhere else in the park it really could go, right? I mean, there's not.
Well, there's survey markers out by Cyclone and by Hurler and Drop Tower. But why build a water ride over there when you already have all the infrastructure for a water ride in Rip-Roaring Rapids plot of land?
And
so
it's pretty likely that's not coming back anyway, right?
No, yeah, it closed down in 2019. So yeah, it's all but done. So I can't. Yeah, for sure. Now, Carowinds needs a water ride, but we're getting a water ride in 2025 in the new kids area. It's a mock power. It's a mock. What's it called? Splash. It's like what Epic Universe is going to get. You ride in a little boat and you spray each other and stuff. So it's a fun little interactive water ride.
The Silver Dollar City.
Yes, they have one too.
Okay.
So I think a record-breaking water ride does have me intrigued because you know it's going to be some type of record-breaking. But then on the flip side of that, Canada's Wonderland is going to be adding yet another new record-breaking water attraction, which is interesting because how can both parks, if they get the same type of ride, break different records? So maybe they're obviously different types of rides.
Or one's a height and one's a length. Or
yeah, I guess that's true.
Or they could have ordered two of a very similar model, but just, swap the whatever.
Well, here's something too. Canada's Wonderland could get the log flume. And then Carowinds gets a water slide for Carolina Harbor. Because Canada's the reason why I say that is Canada's Wonderland just opened up a massive new water slide in 2024 this year. So I don't see them adding a new water slide in 2025. But maybe a new water ride to the dry park for 2025. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by both of these. Because maybe one could be a water coaster of some sort.
Okay, I mean, we don't even know that it's necessarily in the dry park versus
correct. We do not. But with Alpenfury opened up a Canada's Wonderland in 2025, maybe 2026. That's Carowinds' year for a new water coaster of some sort.
Yeah, because these are all 2026 operating season capital investments.
Correct.
I don't know that I would say they're pre-announcing it, but this does seem like a little bit of a rush to.
It does.
Put some positive press out there because
all the negative
it's been
press.
What are we, like day 4 of all of a sudden everybody in the traditional media is beat up on Six Flags, for some news. We got nothing positive to say about things that are happening in the news cycle. So we're going to make some negative news somewhere, and we may as well make it with Six Flags and how they're tearing down popular coasters and making bad decisions. That's the traditional media saying that, not me. for this channel.
I'm just reading about
Yeah,
more information about Great Adventures
news.
Great Adventures new record-breaking launch coaster. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But first, King's Island's going to introduce a new family thrill attraction.
Yeah,
I'm really bummed out about that. I think that's a very. I swore
you wanted to see bigger
2026 was going to be. I mean, it all makes sense. The writing's on the wall. Orion opened up in 2020, right? And then we had the new Family Boomerang coaster open up this year in 2024. And then 2025 is the new water coaster. Some would say a family water coaster for Soak City. And now we have a new family, family thrill attraction. You know, unless it's something like a Vekoma multi-launch like Big Bear Mountain, which would be awesome. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. Not disappointed. I'm not going to lie, because they need a major thrill coaster. So does Carowinds, really.
All right. Well, theme park Brandon, I'm going to hearken you back to your days of theme park predictions. Maybe, you know, just because they're announcing something now doesn't mean that's the only capital investment. I'm thinking that this was rushed. This was not a planned public announcement. So they only are going to announce capital projects that are already guaranteed, either funded or ready to go. So maybe your, you know, ride predictions are still there, but they don't have something lined up yet or whatnot. Because did they just start doing all that nonsense?
Yeah,
or maybe means early on in the project process.
Maybe 2027 is the year for their major coaster. And they want to fill the void of 2026 with the new family thrill attraction, which could align with maybe the family thrill goes in the vortex plot of land, and then the new major coaster for the park goes in Action Zone, where Sun and Beast Station currently is. Maybe they tear down Cargo Falls and then Vertigo to make way for a new front gate coaster.
Well, they just don't want to ruin the announcement cycle for that yet for Kings Island.
That's true.
So
I am a little disappointed as of right now, but who knows? This new family thrill attraction could become one of the best rides in the park. Just look at Big Bear Mountain. That's like the top 3 best coaster at Dollywood. It's my second favorite one there. So,
do you think that Kings Island and Cedar Point are doing like counterpose stuff, where Kings Island is being developed and invested as a family park, and Cedar Point is being invested as like a thrill park,
like a thrill destination park? I mean,
because it's like a really dually.
There could be.
You can go to both of them.
And now that both companies are merged together, Six Flags is known for the thrills. Cedar Fair is known for the better balance. Maybe that's their focus.
Yeah.
You know, even when you go to Ohio, you have to experience both parks. You're only 3 hours from each other.
And isn't a lot of kids stuff either being relocated or maybe even moved out right now anyway? Cedar Point?
No, it's still there. But Kings Island definitely has the better kid area overall, for sure.
I thought you were predicting that at one point that the front kids area
Kingdom could get removed.
Yeah.
They should remove that. So they have not yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully down. But Not Soak City will receive a new water park refresh and aesthetic enhancements.
That's great, because they need some refresh.
And I believe Not Soak City. Yeah, you've been to that water park, and that's your water park. So hopefully that's the case, and maybe a new water slide. Hopefully, there's not a ton of room for that water park to expand. But more importantly, just north of Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Magic Mountain will debut a first of its kind coaster in North America. So this was the coaster.
Brandon's finally going to California as soon as that thing opens, so we can go on parks.
This coaster was supposed to open up in 2025, but it got pushed back.
Yeah, with all the stuff that got pushed.
Correct,
right?
And it's going to be in that area with that giant Great Bear Theater, whatever it's called.
Right in front of the kids' zone.
They already demolished that theater.
Okay.
And it would not surprise me at all if, to make way for this ride, to save some money, there's that the Intamin Reverse Freefall Superman's Krypton coaster, whatever it's called, does get removed.
Okay.
So, and as well as the drop tower that goes along with the Superman.
That stinks, but
it's
probably a reality.
What's the Doctor Doom?
Doctor Doom's drop.
Yeah, I don't know that park like the back of my hand.
I think it's called. Yeah.
But anyways, I'm very intrigued by that. First of a kind coaster coming to North America to Magic Mountain. That means it's not a Hyper, not a Giga, not a multi-launch. I mean, it could, but there's something else different about this ride. And that's exciting. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what type of coaster it is.
Corporate speak, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could put I think you're limiting stuff that might not be eliminated yet, just because they could say first of its kind could also just mean first of it on the West Coast, or or a slightly different model from Vekoma. So you can't eliminate all the Vekoma,
That's true.
different models that are out there.
Yeah.
What do you think it really is, though? Because you've already done prediction videos on it.
I think it could be a record-breaking tilt coaster of some kind.
Okay.
Now that that's kind of the craze.
Yeah.
I would love to see a coaster that is over 200 feet tall in some way. I would love a top hat. Maybe a launch coaster with a top hat with another unique element, because we already know, and Six Flags already knows that Hollywood's Universal Studios Hollywood is opening up the Drift Coaster, which is an Intamin multi-launch coaster.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big competition.
This is not going to be an Intamin, because they're not going to build two major coasters that close together, most likely.
More than likely not.
Yeah. So it could be Premier Rides, maybe. Vekoma. I would say Vekoma is probably the safest bet for this. I've been saying that for a while now. Maybe it's a B&M. Maybe we see a Penguin Trek, the multi-launch at SeaWorld. Maybe they develop that into having more of a thrill aspect, where it could feature inversions. It could go faster. I know you have not been on the ride. I have not either. It looks a lot of fun, and it's the 2x2 seating, and it's B&M's take on a multi-launch coaster.
You want to go with me in January?
Let's go. Six Flags Great America will celebrate a 50th anniversary, debuting a new kids area, special events, and park enhancements. That park could definitely use a new kids area. Have you ever been there or not? Been in the back? It used to have that big roof over it. Maybe it still does. By what's the racing wooden coaster called? American Eagle, right? The big dueling or racing wooden coaster in the back of the Great America. Someone tell me the name. I forget. It's early. It's like 8:30 here. I didn't woke up. We were doing live till about 11:30 last night. But anyways, I could see something we talked about this last night. Could this be Snoopy coming into the parks?
Yeah,
a new kids area. Maybe so. Maybe Snoopy comes over to the Six Flags parks, and vice versa. Some of the Looney Tunes and stuff, DC goes over to the current Cedar Fair legacy parks. But either way, I think it's a really good addition for Great America, especially a year after their new record-breaking dive coaster. So I think that's a smart move, and it's going to give the families another reason to come back to the park. Because if you don't know, that park has kind of got a bad rap the last couple of years with some fighting going on and stuff like that. So hopefully the chaperone policy and this new kids area will clean some of that up.
Okay, so you're saying it is over by American Eagle?
It is.
We got horribly mixed up with Screaming Eagle.
I know. Last night we were
American.
It was bad.
So it sounded wrong when you said it again.
We'll say Kingda Ka for last.
Okay.
I just put out a video yesterday talking about Six Flags over Texas and giving my predictions as to what type of coaster is coming in 2026. Because La Vibora, the Intamin bobsled, is getting removed. And I said that I could see three options: a 30% chance for a B&M wing coaster, 30% chance,
like a Gatekeeper,
exactly, or a Reptera, the launched one maybe.
Texas Gatekeeper.
Yeah, a 30% chance for a Vekoma multi-launch coaster.
Okay.
Because I felt like that would have been a really good fit. Over Texas, out of all the coasters, only has 4 coasters that flip you upside down.
Yeah,
so they definitely could benefit from a new modern high-capacity coaster that takes riders upside down. Yeah. And I said with a 40% chance, a record-breaking dive coaster. Well, sure enough, we have Six Flags over Texas will unleash a new record-breaking dive coaster in 2026.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great fit for the park and just the guest aspect of it.
Another time you can check the box off that you predicted in advance the right thing.
I mean, I don't get everything right, but when I do, it makes me happy for sure.
But let's be realistic, right? Like when you put out 4 things that are there, and it's like almost all the time, what actually gets announced is one of the things that you predict.
Well, that's why I like to do the 3, so I can give you guys where I'm thinking more likely. Well, there's a chance we could see a hyper. There's a chance we could see a wooden coaster, but I'm really leaning towards this.
Yep.
I do that because it makes the videos a little bit more interesting instead of me just going on for 5 minutes where I think one type of coaster could be it. So a dive coaster for over Texas. Now, my question for you: how tall do you think it's going to be?
My follow-up question to you is: how tall do you think it's going to be?
I mean, the record, the Yukon Striker is 245.
Okay,
so they could be 246 for all we know. 250. Over Texas could definitely use a major coaster. It's been
signature.
since 2011 since they last debuted a full circuit major coaster. So I would like to see anywhere from 250 to 265. I think that would be.
You don't think they're going to even try to push?
Yukon Striker, I think, is 225. 245 is the Titan coaster over Texas. That's what it is.
The Titan coaster?
Yeah, because that's the tallest coaster in Texas. And I said in my video yesterday that I think they will break that record so they can reclaim from their own park, of course, the tallest coaster in Texas.
Okay.
So I'm really intrigued by that. There was a survey about a Giga Dive. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money to go up another 50 feet for the Giga Dive. Yep. But over Texas, that market has over 8 million people within an hour drive of it. Maybe that's where they shed the money for the Giga Dive. It's also
a really big park, or busy park, though. They bring capital in. So.
They do. Yeah. So hopefully that could be any. I think there's a slight chance I think it's a 40% chance that this dive will be a Giga and 60% chance it'll be under 300 feet. How about that?
Okay.
Next up is Six Flags Mexico will introduce a new Family Thrill Boomerang coaster. That's great. This park could benefit from that. They don't really have
a family of
so it'll be like what Kings Island just added. Yep. Woodstock. I forget what the actual name of it, but they're great. Those Vekoma.
Is that a family boomerang?
Yeah, it's called a family boomerang. They're a lot of fun. A Holiday World just opened up one. Mm-hmm. Good gravy. That's a really solid fit. It would not surprise me, even though we have a list of 8 or 9 parks here for New Capital. Only 4 or 5 of them are like major coasters. Mm. So what I'm saying is I still think there'll be more parks coming in 2026 that will announce new major capital. Because mind you, there's now 26 parks in the chain. Now, not every park's going to get something major or even something at all. But I'm very intrigued.
42 parks in the full chain.
Sorry, but 42 tri parks.
Yeah. Wait, no, 42 total parks.
42.
And then
42,
26
correct.
tri parks.
40. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Correct. Now, Six Flags Great Adventure will unveil a brand new record-breaking launch coaster. So it says here, let me find my chat here, that Kingda Ka, from a public statement from the park, says to make way for this landmark attraction, the park has retired Kingda Ka and Green Lantern coasters. So yes, Green Lantern and Kingda Ka is closed.
So the question is, are they being demolished?
Yes.
Or are they
It says here, with construction soon, this exciting new ride will underscores Six Flags' commitment to continually elevating the park experience and making every visit an unforgettable adventure for all. It says here, Kingda Ka, ranked as the world's tallest and fastest coaster that's in operation, has delivered more than 12 million rides since 2005. The ride's retirement, in addition to the removal of the twister and the parachutes, make way for a new signature attraction, a multi-record-breaking launch coaster to debut in 2026. The park will also remove the Skyway for future development, continuing the park's commitment to enhancing the guest experience.
Well, that's a lot of different things that are all.
But you notice what's interesting, Matt, is they did not say anything about Zumanjaro.
I think maybe it's just
removing Zumanjaro. Okay. I'm just saying. Now, it says here,
they would run that.
It says here that Six Flags Great Adventure will reveal that the park will be opening a new multi-world record-breaking launch roller coaster that's going to debut at the park in 2026.
Okay.
So there's a rumor out there regarding New Jersey state law states that a theme park in New Jersey cannot have another manufacturer come in and modify an existing coaster. We looked that up, and he's really good with all the legal aspects of everything. So Matt's going to share his thoughts on that because it does kind of make you wonder.
Yeah, I couldn't find any specific thing in the law that said that only the original manufacturer can work on it. There's a really intense certification process for anybody that works on the rides or remanufactures them or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think maybe as a practical matter, what it means is that really only the original manufacturer can do it. And so maybe that's really just, what we're beating around the bush at.
Yeah.
That in reality, only Intamin can really work on it. But it does look like that there's a legal way that you can have somebody else work on it and reimagine it. It just might be, I imagine, be very expensive though. So
correct. Yeah, my friend, this guy named Eric on X posted to me last night a screenshot of the law. It says modifications to rides must be documented and can include changes made by the original manufacturer or through a process where another manufacturer or entirely entity provides the necessary engineering and safety validations.
Which is really hard for a non-manufacturer to probably meet that requirement bar, and that's probably where that cost is.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that like crazy with Top Thrill 2, that they didn't have access to original engineering plans, and because of it, there's problems abound, right?
So the big question is, could we see Kingda Ka get reimagined? Because we already said Kingda Ka is going to get removed. And in past videos, I said they're going to tear it down. And I hope I'm wrong on that. I really am. I would love to see the park be creative with this. Because how else does it make sense to tear it down completely, then rebuild a brand new record-breaking launch coaster?
Right over top of it?
Right over top of it. Does that make sense?
No.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But it could be that they're putting a hotel right there, which would make total sense due to the access to the parking lot.
But they still have room to build the hotel where Green Lantern is, because when the demo permits came out, and Kingda Ka is not listed under the demo permits. Green Lantern, Twister, and Parachute Tower, or they haven't filed them yet. Maybe there's another way they're looking at tearing it down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's so many questions around Kingda Ka, great adventure. But I love to see them really putting a lot of money and time into this park because it desperately needs it. And now it's like, where do we stand? Are they going to get? Could it be reimagined? Could it not?
Yeah.
What's your as a business side of things? What do you think?
If I'm not mistaken, the official prediction of this channel has not been that it was going to be demoed, just that it was closing. Right.
I think in past video, as I was there talking to people, I think in my vlog I said they're tearing it down.
Okay.
And I did a video about 2 years ago about the reimagining at Kingda Ka and how they would remove Green Lantern to build the spike and have a twisted spike and an extended ride layout to the ride. I would hope that's the truth. But with Zamperla really fumbling the whole entire, Top Thrill 2 right there, I'm leery because we know that relationship
I cannot possibly imagine
that
the same corporation would entertain reimagining the exact same ride that is costing them not just money, not just opportunity costs, right? Not just all the people that are ticked off about it, right? But I mean, it's hurting the brand, it's hurting the park. I highly doubt that they would go, oh, hey, we screwed up once. Let's try the exact same thing again, but we're going to just use a different manufacturer to do it. And you certainly know it's not Zamperla.
Exactly. And why would Zamperla want to do that? They can't. They're so invested in the crap hole with Top Thrill 2 and redeveloping potential new trains. The trains are back at Zamperla right now.
And think about it. What other manufacturer then would want to take that same risk?
Intamin.
No, well, I mean, other than Intamin, in other words, the actual, other than the original manufacturer who knows engineering design plans and has actual specs on it, why would any other manufacturer touch that thing with a 30-foot pole? They wouldn't. If Six Flags came around calling, they probably wouldn't answer their phone.
Especially with how Top Thrill 2 turned out.
Yeah,
they don't want the liability because there's. Who is to say Zamperla ever designs another major coaster after this? They may not.
They might.
Hopefully they do, but this is how bad the relationship between Zamperla and Cedar Fair is right now.
I mean, you're hearing the same things I am about how the relationship is just in the toilet.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. Why would anybody other than the original manufacturer want to deal with that? Even if they thought, oh, we can actually beat that, that's still a possibility that you have to factor into the possibility of your brand recognition being just destroyed because of how something went bad with it.
Yep.
No.
So Kingda Ka
Intamin would be the only one that would do it. And they super price quoted from my inside source, they quoted very, very, very high, like a screw you, or just maybe that was just really how much it cost to reimagine.
Well, maybe now that the company's together and they don't want to lose the title for the record breaking. Now here's one more thing. What if they try to go after the height record?
Yeah.
I mean, Falcon's Flight is obviously opening up next year.
That's gonna be really hard and
I know
really
it
expensive,
is.
right?
It is. It probably won't. But the speed record, probably not. I mean, I'm just throwing out there potentially. This gets people excited. When you hear a new record-breaking launch coaster,
But it also qualifies that with the word in North America.
That's
it's
true.
not worldwide, right? Because think about it too. That's announcements $525 million for all of the parks that they're announcing for 2026, right?
Yeah.
A 500-foot, I mean, a worldwide record-breaking first of its kind coaster that was over 500 feet. That might take up almost.
It doesn't say anything about North America's.
Oh, I'm just reading the press announcement right there.
It does not, though. It does not say anything about the continent, so it could be.
Okay.
It says here again, a new record-breaking launch coaster coming in 2026.
You know how public corporations are, though. I mean, like they're fast and loose with those terms.
Correct.
I think you're defining it maybe a little tighter.
I'm being optimistic.
Yeah.
There's a slight chance, maybe like a 5% chance, but record-breaking could be anything. It could be literally the
record-breaking in New Jersey. This coaster's right across another state in Pennsylvania,
like,
right? So
a spike that actually goes upside down type of thing. That they're the world's tallest inversion on the record breaking. There's so many different things that they can do. So overall, this is some very, very exciting news out of Six Flags. This is just it's wild. I can't believe that we're even still talking about Cedar Fair, Six Flags, all one company.
Mm-hmm.
But again, a lot of good stuff coming to the parks. Some stuff we're a little bit more thrilled about than others. But nonetheless, the money's pouring into the parks. That's always a positive.
Yay, water parks.
And I really love the fact that, Magic Mountain, Great Adventure, over Texas, those are the three big parks that are getting major new coasters in 2026.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's good that they're announcing them now, so that way we have something to talk about, to look forward to.
Yeah.
We can speculate for the next, probably year before we're going to know. I mean, they're not really going to announce this in next season, right?
Yeah,
maybe at the end of the season?
Probably July. They'll start teasing. Sometimes the parks will announce it in July as well.
Yeah, but they're probably going to announce it around when season passes are going to go for sale for 2026.
Yep,
and let's just be realistic.
Yep, that's how it usually is, and that makes sense totally. So
we've got almost a year until we know what these things are.
And earlier too, I said I think more parks will start announcing stuff too. Maybe not as major as these three major coasters, because these take more time.
Yep.
And so these are the coasters that the company knows about now.
They're locked in.
They're locked in. They're starting to get funded. Yep, exactly. Designed. So we will see what happens come next year. Now, one thing too about the Great Adventure, in the survey, there was a Mock Rides 400-foot tall extreme spinner coaster.
That'd be awesome.
For Great Adventure.
I doubt that's what it is.
Maybe Mock Rides is going to be retrofitting Kingda Ka to have it the extreme spinner. I just don't know how those trains that spin can go up to 400 or 128 miles an hour.
What's that? But the tallest they do in Europe is only
the tallest hyper there is like Hyperion is like 220.
Yeah.
So you're talking another 180 feet.
That's
I don't know. Plus with the spinning trains, I think maintenance wise that'll be those trains will get beaten up big time.
They would be because they're magnetically delayed is basically what the spin is, and that would just be way more forces, which would mean you'd have to have way more, rare earth magnets.
100%.
So that'd be heavier trains too, which re-engineering. That seems unlikely.
Very, very exciting news out of Six Flags. Tell me what your thoughts are. What do you think about all of this? And most importantly, what's your thoughts on Kingda Ka, the future of it? I'm optimistic and hopeful now. With that being said, if you want to see my design version of the Kingda Ka with the extended layout, the video is at the bottom of your screen right now. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. This is Theme Park Brandon. Have a blessed day. Remember to smile today, think positive, and of course, keep riding coasters.